Ecstatic Bliss. Secrets to living a juicy life. Your soul said yes. Your soul's calling conquered your ego's resistance. You jumped. And with this, a new timeline opens. You feel a mix of caution and curiosity. But deep down you know this was written in the stars. And this is a way of describing metaphorically with imagery how it may feel on a deeper level for your soul when finally you, the you that layers your soul, has decided, I don't want to live any role or a mask anymore. I don't want to live according to society's norms or conditionings. I'm here to be uniquely me, to be radically me, to be free of all of it, to embody my soul. And if you've journeyed with me over the last past episodes, you know we are on a deep journey back to soul. We are on a journey back to our essence, our truth, which I feel, in my opinion, life is always about coming back home, coming back to our home frequency, which is love and light and bliss in human terms, yeah? Basically, there is no word because it's a state of being to be attained and that we approximate in our course of life. And for today's episode, I invite you again, if you wish, to set up your sacred space, because I really value sacred spaces. Whenever I feel I want to connect deeper with my soul, and all my transmissions, all my episodes, what I share here and broadcast as a signal, so to say, is an invitation for you to go deeper and fly higher, of course. So maybe you wish to light a candle or burn an incense or sit yourself down somewhere where you have space for some time to just be with yourself peacefully, maybe your journal that you can use after this episode or when you have some glimpses into truth while I'm transmitting here, channeling here. Because today is what I call the initiation into the temple of ecstatic bliss, or we can also say the grand opening of the 8 alchemical stages of my signature one-on-one mentoring Soulgasm. Because after this call of your soul, when you have said yes, it's time to enter. It's time to enter the portal, go through the portal into the temple, and be ready for your transformation, for your metamorphosis, which happens every time actually you say yes to a more advanced, ascended, and awakened version of yourself. And most often, this will be in a phase of in-between, the so-called in-between state that is like the cocoon, not caterpillar anymore, but also not quite butterfly yet. This nebulous void state where we are asked to surrender and trust. And you will most probably hear saying me this a lot of times, because life is truly about surrendering and trust and going with the flow, knowing everything that you dream, your heart's desires, your soul's desires, not from ego, but from soul, they are there for a reason. And they are meant to be fulfilled. The only thing you have to do is surrender and trust and follow the guidance that you receive automatically, actually, without you even doing something. Following the guidance within, which is accessing your core frequency of your soul and the divine. So the grand opening, this phase is you can also maybe say it's the first entry point or touch point between your is state, your current state of being and your current space, and the temple space of ecstatic bliss. And I wish or invite you to actually also really see this as a temple, what I'm transmitting here, or this field. I see it as a parallel version of reality, a parallel dimension, so to say, where all of this exists. Beautiful temple. I love India and I live in India, so it is quite Indian, this temple of ecstatic bliss. And flooded with light, red carpet, cushions, very cozy and warm, lots of candles, incense, fragrance of lotus flowers, a water fountain in the middle, and different rooms for different purposes. And I actually really have this temple space created for me creatively. And that's always how I, set myself into the tone of what I'm here for. It's in a way also, if you feel the call, if you have a calling to transition into a new version of yourself, into this more advanced or more deeply connected version with yourself, you get insights more and more into what you are truly here for. Your mission, so to say, your purpose, your dharma. And that was also the case with me, and still is, of course. The deeper I connect with myself, the more I remember why my soul incarnated. It's not so much about what I learn or what I experience. Yes, this is also part of it. But for me, it is more about the frequency I transmit through the codes I'm bearing in my energetic field. And this is also why I love astrology, human design, and the gene key so much, because they give our mind at least some technology or a tool to understand, to decode this essence, and on the basis of this, align our lives. And actually, to embody this frequency you came here to embody, there has been at some point made an agreement, so to say. An agreement, a sacred agreement before you incarnated. A sacred agreement with your soul and the divine. From another perspective, we can also say, when we personify it a little bit more, which is more easy for our mind to understand or to grasp the idea, is that you've been assigned a mission here on earth from the divine. It's like, okay, you are the perfect fit for this. And you will be equipped with exactly the tools and techniques and wisdom you need to accomplish or fulfill this mission. I also always like to have this analogy of a superhuman or a super character. Superman, superwoman. A hero, because what we do here in life is also the hero's journey, if you know this, from Joseph Campbell, which is the basis of many, if not almost all movies, the hero's journey. And you find it also in tarot. You find it in different spiritual tools and methodologies. This hero's journey, and to understand actually your soul is also here on a hero's journey. So the sacred agreement is made before incarnating. Agreement with your soul, with the divine, but also with all and everyone you meet on your path. And also, we have an agreement in a way, because we are currently sharing an energetic space. We are not physically together, but energetically we are connected. And the first key to understand when entering a field of transformation, which ecstatic bliss is, the temple of ecstatic bliss, or portal to ecstatic bliss, I sometimes use it synonymously. I sometimes feel like, okay, it's more of a portal I offer from outside. It's a portal where you can enter, and then it's a transformational journey to get to a state of ecstatic bliss through a soulgasmic experience, so to say. And sometimes I'm like, okay, my space is also a temple space. So take whatever resonates. I'm especially, speaking to those of you who remember temple work, priestess path. And the very first, to come back to that, the very first remembrance before entering that space is to honor your agreements. Because actually, if you don't honor these agreements, what your mission is, especially here on earth, you kind of insult your soul. Have you thought about this? Not honoring your agreements, not honoring stepping fully into your potential, into your power, into your mission, into your dreams is an insult to your soul. Because your soul knew, hey, I have exactly those tools and wisdom that is needed to fulfill all of this. This is my purpose. This is why I came here for. And then your ego or some conditioning layers say like, this is not possible, this is not normal, no one ever has done this. All these mind games that kick in when you actually on a deeper level already know this is why you came. This is why you came. So really honor these agreements you have with your soul. And obviously, at some point you have to dig into what are these agreements. You will know straight away some, probably, but some reveal over time. Some reveal when you have passed a certain threshold, we can say, and the divine is ready to reveal or unveil, rather, to unveil some more illusions and let you see clearly, hey, this is the next puzzle piece to step into your mission. And most of the time, it is going through fire, burning down your identity, and being reborn as a phoenix to fly into a deeper level of your mission. And I feel if we remind ourselves of how sacred it is to have been assigned to a particular mission, no one else, just you. And not to freak out in fear, like, this feels too much for me, this feels too big for me, this feels, I could never reach this, or what if I walk and then fall, or what if I start doing it and then I fail. That's ego again. That's fear. Fear is always ego. And yes, it's valid to have fears, because they kind of also bring us into humbleness, but at some point it has to flip, or you have to switch your perspective and see, wow, I've been assigned this mission too. This is actually the deepest honoring you can make for your soul and the divine, to live in service to the divine, which is you. Yeah, you're nothing separate, obviously, is to fully claim this mission. Fully claiming it. Which also means coming to the next aspect, which is important for sacred transformation that aligns you back to soul, is devotion. Devotion means loyalty, dedication, dedicated time and energy, for example, and resources to your mission. It is in a way standing up each day, fully ready to face whatever needs to be faced to make the next step towards your mission. Not being stagnant, not walking backwards, although sometimes seems as if we are walking backwards just to gain a little bit more momentum and then run towards even multiple steps towards our mission. But in essence, it's about each and every day being in devotion to your own truth. If you don't resonate with the terminology of mission or purpose, it's also, you can reframe it in a way of seeing it as the deepest meaning why you are here. And of course, the deepest meaning is in a way just to be here, to exist. But then look at the next layer around it. The next layer after just being is oftentimes related to a certain degree or frequency or state of being, which in turn is connected with a masculine energy of doing, of taking action towards achieving the state of being. Yeah, so maybe you see here actually masculine and feminine again dancing together. The state of being is that feminine aspect, and the doing to achieve the state of being is the masculine aspect of it, of the purpose. And yes, we could also distinguish purpose is more the state of being and mission is more the action towards the state of being actually, but I don't want to philosophize too much about these terminologies as I feel you get the point what I want to share. So devotion to your truth, devotion to your essence, to your soul. Which also means, if we leave out this higher purpose, which also means in each and every second to choose yourself. To love yourself so much that your own truth is more sacred than the truth of others. Not that you deny or diminish or neglect others' truth, but more so that you see it equally valid and respect both yours and others' truth equally. Devotion in that sense is actually also an act of self-love, I feel. Because self-love always pays into the count of soul. Devotion, of course, if we come to the divine as well, is to have a regular connection with this higher principle of life, this life force energy that runs through you, and not seeing yourself separately from it, but including yourself in divinity. And actually, if you would worship, imagine that, if you would worship yourself as the goddess or the god that you actually are, how would you treat yourself? How would you make decisions? And how would your everyday life actually look like? For me personally, devotion and worshipping are very much interconnected. Because if you are in devotion to someone or something, you will worship in some form. You may dedicate specific time frames of your day, morning, evening, for example, to it, or this person, or this deity. You will also put effort in this worship. You will also financially invest in it. And if you see yourself as this god or goddess, then it's actually very naturally that we invest in our own transformation, in our own well-being, in our evolution, in everything. This is a real mindset shift I invite you to consider and to contemplate upon. So maybe you want to note this down. What does devotion and what does worshipping mean for me? And how can I be more devoted to my own self, to my own truth, to my own soul? And how can I worship myself more? This can also be taking a bubble bath. This can also be making yourself the most precious, delicious food. This can be so many things. It will be personal to you. And I invite you really to take this time for yourself. Either you pause now the episode and write it down straight away, or after this episode, just to note down how you can worship yourself more. How you can actually, this saying actually has a lot of deeper meaning if we think about it deeper, more deeply, to make life a ceremony or a ritual, to include more rituals and ceremonies into your life. And with that, I do not only mean lighting candles, sitting down in full moon or new moon, but I also mean how you wake up, how you eat, how you wash your dishes, these seemingly insignificant everyday moments. And maybe you have heard this already, or most probably, but have you actually put this in practice? The grand opening doesn't start with any program or workshop or a container where deeper transformation happens, but every day actually. The grand opening can be every day. And those dedicated really to their purpose, to their mission, even if not everything is revealed yet, just acting in accordance with your inner guidance, your higher self, and the inner knowing, you know what you know, yeah, the inner knowings for me are, you know when you know, or you know what you know. These dedicated souls are the ones who actually achieve their dreams. And I know this procrastination space is a very common loop people get caught in. Because actually, most people know what their purpose is, at least bits and pieces of it. Especially if you're listening to my content, if you're here, you know more of what you're here for. So we had sacred agreements and devotion, including worship. And now, of course, I wish to repeat it again. Another and third sacred ingredient for great transformation to occur, or to be really ready to enter that portal, enter the temple, is to truly surrender to a higher path. And surrender is also one terminology that you can write down and contemplate upon what it means for you specifically, because it has many layers in my experience, and it also reveals over time. It goes deeper and deeper. The same with truth. Truth reveals over time. Truth changes all the time. Yeah. And surrender is similar. There are deeper layers of it, depending on many factors, but one is in how far you are devoted and how far you are connected with yourself and the divine and this higher path. What I mean with higher path is actually the path towards your purpose. And surrendering means in that sense also to follow your inner voice, to follow your guidance, to accept what is now is exactly where you need to be. But deep down to also know there's more out there. There's more, and I'm destined for more. It's not that one day we wake up and everything is as it is and remains as it is. There is always more. That's a principle of life. Because once we've achieved one step we've set for ourselves, naturally our system is wired for expansion. Our system is wired for expansion, so this path never ends. And our mind is limited to understand this. Our mind is limited to understand, and that you can also wire into your system and soothe your mind. Mind, you don't understand, but I know deep down my soul is meant for more. The initiation into the temple of ecstatic bliss or any other sacred container where deep transformation happens is born out of the void, is born when you feel in a way stuck between timelines, between old identity and new identity. When you feel this is not my place anymore, this is outdated where I am currently living in this state of being. And when you feel there is something awaiting me, but maybe cannot quite grasp what it is. When you're in this in-between state, you're already initiated. You will receive your initiations, including this one, what I transmit here. Initiation means, in the sense, also preparation. Preparation to receive a new transmission or receive new downloads so that the codes inside of you are activated. You don't have to understand all the words I'm sharing. Just understand the deeper meaning of it between the lines. That's it. Yeah? Initiation is preparation. And to truly land in this field of ecstatic bliss inside the temple, my temple, I invite you now to close your eyes, if you can. And take a deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth with a maybe 2 times more if you feel like, just to let the words that I've spoken land, sink deeper. And imagining a warm, cozy space around you, safe, protected by the guardians of the Temple of Ecstatic Bliss. You smell this incense of lotus flowers, and you, from afar, hear the sound of a water fountain, purification fountain. You're standing in front of a beautiful ancient temple. In the temple garden, golden butterflies, peacocks, red roses all around you. And you came here with a commitment to yourself, a commitment to finally walk this path of your soul's truth in deep devotion, in crystal clarity, in pure love for yourself. In the knowing there is more, in the knowing you are ready for the next step, in the knowing it is time to live truly myself, to honor the agreement I have made with my soul, to honor my sacred mission. And I'm calling in higher support, the angels and archangels, and your personal spirit team, your ancestors, that they may support you on this journey. In other realms, invisible, but deeply impactful. They are with you, always, all the time. And although this journey towards self-discovery and self-mastery can oftentimes feel alone, unsupported, you are in essence always connected and always supported, even in the deepest, darkest void. And now place your hands on your heart and speak aloud or internally, I now commit to my truth. I now commit to my path. I now commit to the true potential of my being. And while these words vibrate within you, circulating in every cell of your being, igniting remembrance of your soul, you take the step through the portal to ecstatic bliss. Much love and much bliss. Soraya Ananda. If you feel the deep pull to walk this spiral more intimately, Soulgasm, my 6-month one-on-one sacred mentoring awaits you. This is a living embodiment of all I transmit here, but uniquely decoded for your soul. Enter the portal of ecstatic bliss and unleash your personal soulgasmic reality. All details and the link to book your vibrational match call are in the show notes.